Hello, everyone. Derek Floyd here, Beautiful Now Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Chasing the Impossible. This is the segment where I interview special guests who happen to have accomplished seemingly impossible things along the way to let you know no matter what you're dreaming for, no matter what you're chasing, no matter what you're trying to strive to, if they can reach their impossible, then you can reach yours too. And if you love this kind of content, do me a favor, pause right quick, hold on, jump over to the YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you get that so that's when we get the content to you as soon as it's available. And then hit the little gray bell right next to it. That lets you alerted when new content has arrived. So make sure you do both of those things so you can stay with the Beautiful Now podcast when we release new stuff for you. And today, we do have an incredible special guest, and that's guest as in plural. These are some family folks of mine that I have seen grow a business from 2018 to now. And they have shown me how to get this thing done by building their faith, hard work, and really coming out and just being the great people that they are and having that translate into their business. Entrepreneurs have a hard time getting a business off the ground, but these two, this couple, has done an amazing job. And their story of how they got there encourages me, and I really hope it encourages you as well. So if you got a minute, sit back, relax, grab a little bit of glass of wine or whatever you do, and enjoy the interview with my main peoples, Mr. Andrew and Sylvia Nixon. My peoples, are you there? Talk to me.
Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
hello, hello. No, that was a first. That was a
That was
first.
a first.
That
That was a
was,
first.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I love it. Hello, everyone. And
Hello,
thank
how's
you
Hey,
everyone doing
so
today?
much,
my
Mr.
peeps are
Floyd, for
in the
having us.
audience today.
Yes.
I'm so glad to have you
Thank,
guys here now.
thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having us. We appreciate it. This is fun for us. We like
We love it.
spending time with cool people, and you're definitely a cool guy.
Oh
Oh,
man,
yeah.
blessings on that, blessings on that. We share the face, so we know how that works, right? And
Oh, yeah. Oh,
your
yes.
and your story, like about chasing the impossible, just encourages people. And we were talking before the show started about making sure we inspire people to do what they're dreaming about, and that God's got a plan for them. So hopefully, as you tell your story, they'll feel like they can follow their plan as well.
Absolutely.
Looking forward
Absolutely.
to it.
So let's get on and get cranking into it, man. I got questions here so we can make sure we really kind of dive in and get the meat of the story. And there goes my dog. Every time I have a live stream, my dog goes off. That's how you know it's live, because my dog is
Yeah,
always
Yes.
going to make some noise somewhere.
we
So
were
y'all
we
know,
were
y'all
worried our dog
watching,
was gonna make
that's
some
my
noise, but
dog.
he's
It's
quiet.
okay.
That's great. That's
It
great.
is what it is. And he
It
always
is
waits
what
till
it
I
is.
get started, and then he barks.
Right.
He
The
don't make
Dota
no
barking.
noise all day. Then I turn the
The
camera
Dota
on.
talking.
He got something to say. So let's just
What kind of
roll
dog
with
do
it,
you
y'all.
have?
It's all right.
What kind of
So
dog do you
first,
have?
what you gonna say, Andrew?
I said, what kind of dog do you have?
He's a. I don't even know how to explain. He's really small, man. Let's see. He's a mix of a Basenji and Terrier mixed. So
Oh
he's
Oh,
really
wow.
wow.
stout. I'm gonna have to have a picture of him next time. I'm gonna show it and put it on the screen so I can see this crazy dog when he goes off.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
and
love
my
it.
one of the people, my wife's watching the screen. She said, "Crazy dog." She put that put that in the comments. Look on the screen. There you go, crazy dog. All right, man. Well, let's have some fun. Let's talk about what you guys do and tell your story. So, you guys are entrepreneurs. Were you always entrepreneurs, and what made you decide to start your business in 2018?
Well, I'll start off by saying, again, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it. We love any opportunity that we get to kind of share our story,
Yeah.
not just to share our story, but to also help and encourage others. But
Mm,
no, we weren't always entrepreneurs, but I think in our previous lives, I say previous lives before we got married, we were always in our separate lives, we were always helping and encouraging people. That was just a part of our nature.
mm,
And I think be it purpose and fate, as you know, it is has it came the right way. It
mm-hmm,
was the right marriage, no
Mm-hmm.
pun intended, the right the right connection, and we saw that we both have the same. We're both individuals, we're both
mm-hmm,
different people, but we have a lot of the same mindset and feelings
Mm-hmm.
on things, and that's just what we like to do. So we quickly saw that we've always helped people all this time. We were working in corporate America, serving at church and doing a lot of different things. and we were always helping people.
Mhm.
We weren't getting paid for it. We
Right.
weren't using it for money, but anything from resumes
Yeah.
to, you know,
Even design, you
design.
know?
Someone had an event. I mean, you name it. We were just naturally clinging to that,
Right.
and life then now took a turn and kind of helped force and plunge us into it. You want to talk about that part?
Yeah. I mean, Press and Sow was never a part of our thinking.
It wasn't a
So
planned
I
thing at
think
all.
for us to start there, it was never there.
It was just.
However, just the heart to serve others,
Mhm,
that was the connector. And
mhm,
so I just love how God has a way to take the heart, and he knows how to make the right connections and
Right.
how they need to connect. And so when we started Press and Sow, we actually got a heat press just for fun,
just
right?
for fun.
And
Yeah.
just for fun. And
Who
we
does that, right?
we
We
got the
do.
heat press in 2017,
Yes.
December of 2017, not knowing that the beginning of 2018 was we were going to run into some challenges.
Mm,
And so
okay.
it kind of started a thing of, hey, we need to take what we already have and we have to do something with it. So when we explain our story, we like to be very, very honest.
Mm,
And when we started out of a need,
mm,
not even out of a desire.
mm,
So, thank God for the grace of God
mm,
that was upon us, that blessed our business,
mm,
even because just because we started out of a place that was a desperate place.
Right.
mm,
Right.
mm.
So we needed something to happen, and it happened right away.
And just to kind of tail off of that, yes, we started off of a need, based off of a need, but um, doing that, we quickly learned that we had to shift from being in need alert, if you will, right?
Right.
We had to quickly shift out of that status. And I'll tell anyone today, I tell everyone, make sure that you're not operating out of need, but operate out of strategy. We had to
Mm,
quickly change from that need mindset into strategy, because that's the only way you're going to be able to grow.
Right.
mm,
Right.
Being in need, you can only go as far as the next need that's met, and
Mm.
then there's another need that's met.
that's
Hmm.
But when you
powerful.
could when you could put
That's
strategy
really good.
behind it,
Yeah.
that's when it starts to become a little bit more abundant,
Mm,
and it becomes a little bit more natural. And then now it's just kind of free flowing on its own.
Right.
So we
mm.
quickly learned how to get out of that need. Now we always need, but we quickly learn how to get out of that mindset.
And you guys press, and I didn't even say what the business was in the beginning, so let me retract a little bit. Sorry, y'all, I'm slipping today. Your
No, no, you're fine.
business is just explain what press and sew is, so they can understand.
Yeah, so originally, when we after we were like, okay, well, we need to file some papers. We need to do something because this is the road that we are getting ready to travel.
Right.
And so we thought about the press, the heat press, and also the sew is not a SEW, it is
But
a SOW.
SOW.
SOW. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is intentional. It is to sow into whoever is being placed in our midst.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that is encouragement, whether that is the work of our hands, whether it is, sowing something that is going to help them grow their business, that is the whole big picture behind Press and Sow. So it's very intentional, and we like to keep that SOW before us, right? Because
Right.
we want to reap a harvest, and so we know that sowing is
Right.
necessary.
And we don't look at what we do, although on paper it may be a transaction, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
don't look at it as a transaction, but we look at it more as being able to bless someone and give them a gift, right?
Right.
They came to us with a need or a request, and a lot of times with no vision or just just no idea of what they want to do. They just know that they want to do something, and we've been able to come alongside them and kind of help till up the ground, if you will, get the idea juices flowing and come up with magic and
Yeah.
as much as we can. So we just love lifting people up and taking their idea from zero to 1,000.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it. I love
Agreed.
it. And so your company is a company that does pressing of mugs, T-shirts, you name it. You do all of that in what you
Yeah.
deliver. And you said you bought the machine. It's just you were like, this was a kind of a hobby thing. You were like, well, we're gonna try this and
Yeah,
have some fun
yeah.
with it.
Bought the machine, and we were doing vinyl. It was vinyl at the time, and we kind of started off doing that, and noticed it quickly morphed from you know onesie twosie birthday shirts to little kid shirts and it started
Family
morphing into
reunion.
family reunions. It started getting a little bit bigger, and then it was businesses wanted a small batch of shirts for their business, and
Mm-hmm.
then we quickly saw that heat press wasn't the way to go
Yeah.
because it's very detailed, right? So we saw
Mm-hmm.
that we really had to expand.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point, we started getting screen printed shirts done. We weren't doing them at the time because of obviously we didn't have the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
But quickly into that, we saw that look, we have the talent, we have the know-how, and we quickly learned that craft and started screen printing ourselves, and
Yeah.
it took off from there.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I
So
mean, just to,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to add to what Andrew was saying. So after we did the started adding on other things, we thought, okay, we need to add on promotional items
Right.
too. And so that's your mugs, that's your tumblers, your water bottles and stuff of that nature, mouse pads and all type of fun things. You see a pillow right behind us, so that's a promotional item. I mean, like, we love promotional products because it can, it's your silent communicator
I
for
love
your
it.
brand. So yeah, we are your one-stop experience and your one-stop shop for everything, custom design and promotionals.
And we actually allowed the requests that came in. That naturally is what helped
Right,
expand. Is
right.
now that I think about it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, now that I really think
Yeah,
about
that's
it,
right.
again, this wasn't it didn't initially start off as like a calculated, thought
Mm-hmm.
out, business plan. Like it's so funny. The business plan kind of came after. It
Yeah.
was
Wow.
like the cart before the horse. Now, I
You
don't
would never
suggest
say that to
everyone.
most
Oh,
Yeah,
entrepreneurs.
I don't suggest that everyone do that.
yeah.
That was definitely
Please,
the
please, people, don't
yeah,
do
please
that.
don't do that. So
Yeah.
if there's anything you can learn, never put the cart before the horse.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
as as fate would have it, that's kind of how it happened for us, and that's with the requests coming in and the need for things. That's what's really expanded us because we never really said no to anything.
Mm-hmm.
One of our things was is like yes we can and here's how,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
we figure it out.
I love
So
that attitude.
I love learning like that. Not everyone likes learning like that. I
Sure.
like kind of being under the fire and just having to figure things out. But
Mm-hmm.
it came easy for us. And
Well, I will say,
what's that?
let's just be honest
What's that?
here. Is that Andrew he likes to do everything on edge. He's very edgy. And so that, if anybody, look, if y'all don't know me, let me just tell you something. And for those that I work with, I'm not a on edgy
She's
person.
not.
I'm not. It
I'm telling her to
freaks me
calm down.
out. I mean, like, Andrew is
Right.
if there's the cliff, he is on the edge of the cliff,
Drew, she telling on
leaning
you.
over,
Drew, she
right?
telling on you, man.
And so,
She's
I
calling
mean,
you
it,
out.
it is, listen,
Listen, I'll take it.
it's a
I don't.
whole nother level.
Well,
And
that that
so,
that brings us to the question, which is you started your company, and of course, most people always have roles in the company because you started as a team. Who does what in the company and why?
um, oh, I
Like,
didn't
is
hear
one
the
person
last
the
part of
accountant, one
that.
person the marketing, one person is the producer, one person is the warehouse? I mean, how did you manage who does what and why?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was fun. Again, I don't think that we even really sat down and had a discussion like, okay, hey babe, you're gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. it was just kind of a natural thing. I think naturally, because I'm the designer, and the more tedious, handling type person, I naturally fell into more of the production side of it. Now, I will tell you, my wife, some people say by trade, I would say just naturally out of the womb, she is good at talking, and she is good at locking in deals and making it happen. And without that, it doesn't matter how much production there is on the back end. I think just the friendly approach, the warm welcome, it has definitely been one of the main things that we operate off of. And that's what's different to me. I think if you were to say, hey, what's different about you versus someone else?
Mhm.
What's different about us is that, again, it's not a transaction, it's a conversation, and it's always a relationship included in it. And that's what every one of our customers, I mean, you can ask anyone, every one of our customers, the conversation is about business and the job. But I can tell you, there's going to be a tear or two or a laugh or
Yeah,
two before we're done. And
of course.
we really we like that because it allows us to get to know the customer or the client more, and it allows us to connect to what their needs are better versus
Mm.
just a strange transaction and they're out the door.
Yeah, and I would just to add to that, I would even say,
And we still need to talk about our roles.
uh, I'm gonna hit.
I felt them saying, but you didn't answer the question.
I know. I'm gonna hit.
I just had to lay some groundwork.
Okay, so I because we are married,
Right.
right? And because we've chosen to work together, we had to come into a clear mindset that we're not going to allow what we do to tear us apart.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's establish
Come
our
on,
own.
truth on that. Truth on that.
Yes.
Truth on that.
Let,
Somebody speak it.
for real, for real.
Yeah.
And so let's establish our own lane. Now, when we talk about roles, it's almost, from front end, there are times when both of us are talking to potential clients and also our existing clients.
Mhm.
But a lot of times it's just me. And then Andrew is brought into the picture, you know what I mean? Because he does production, right? That's his nickname, is
Production.
production. And so, because he is more of the hands-on, the designer, he can help them process what they're thinking. Even though I feel like I do have the eye, at the end of the day, his eye is stronger than mine when it comes to the
but
design
but
aspect of
I
it.
will say publicly, I just want to give you a shout out publicly. Your eye has grown. And so,
I love it.
know,
Y'all giving
I
each other
remember.
love on the screen.
What in the world?
I mean, it's gotten really big. But
Wow.
Oh my God.
I remember back to when
That's
we
so
I
funny.
remember back to when we started to where we are now,
Have
and
mercy.
it's almost like a proud father, but I'll say proud husband. But just to kind of let you know the feeling, the thought behind it. But like, there are some things that she's created on her own, not using the tools that I'm using,
Okay.
but her finding tools that work for
Okay.
her, and because of either the workload and what's going in, rather than her weight, she just took the bold step and she put some things together. So she's done a great job, and I'm proud of her for that. I just want to say
I gotta give
I'm
some
proud of you.
shout outs because folks are doing all kind of shout outs up here. So let me bring some folks in. Steve Worthy's jumping in the house. He said, "Oh my God, it's Sylvia and Andrew Nixon. I love them. You got people out here like
Oh, we love
love
you too,
y'all."
Steve
Wait a minute.
Worthy.
That's our stepbrother Steve.
I got Natasha Davis popping in talking about you said she's a people person for
Oh,
sure.
My sister Natasha,
Natasha.
we love you.
Okay. And I got Tiffany talking about I offer moral support. She's there for y'all.
Yes,
Yes,
she
she does.
is. Yes, she is.
Thank you, Tiff.
And I even got my wife jumping in. She want to throw her 10 cents in and say, yo, she said, hey, wait a minute, where's it? That's awesome. You two are great. Every,
Oh, well, thank you so much, Miss Beth.
everybody's loving y'all. So y'all so real. That's what it is. It's because y'all real. Because y'all real.
Oh, that's the only way we know to be.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
So the question flows back around. Let's go back to you were because you started this off with a whim, and my question to you earlier was that Scripture says without a vision people perish. So you had to eventually instill a vision in this thing. And how did you find your vision? Because I know you talk about it in the first sentence of your website. And how does it guide what you do now?
Okay, can you repeat the beginning of that? It was a little pause there.
Oh, can you hear me?
One more time.
Okay.
I
Yeah, we
can
can
hear
hear
you
you now.
now.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying that Scripture says without a vision, people perish. Without a
Okay.
vision, companies go down. And you
Oh,
talked a little bit about
absolutely.
that your company didn't initially start with this gigantic vision, but I'm sure you had to
Of having
form
a vision.
something
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
How did you discover the vision for it, and how does it guide what you do now?
So, when it came down to our vision, like Andrew said, when we started, it wasn't something where we wrote our vision on tablets. You know what I mean? Like because we started off in a emergency stance. It was a we see that this is something that we're going to have to put structure to. So now that we understand, like he said, we had to move from the need to the strategy. So at that point, we had to start putting the strategy in place. And so, side note, we understand that without the vision, people
Perish
perish
quick, fast, and in a hurry.
quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah.
And so we had to come together many a times and to say, okay, well, let's just stop and let's assess where we are. Let's assess, how we're doing it, and let's make sure that we're making this very concrete and we're building a foundation for our company to grow. Because again, because we started off at a need, we didn't know. We had no idea.
Very green.
We were so green,
Yes.
I mean, with everything.
Right.
And we didn't know that our company would grow as it's growing right now.
And
Yeah.
with that, we know that um we still need to learn,
Mm,
and we put ourselves in a posture to continue to learn. I mean,
absolutely.
once you said you've learned everything, you know everything, that's the first steps to failing. So we always make sure we're in a posture to learn. So we're always growing, and it keeps our zeal and our hunger up even more every day as we continue to go. I mean, there's not a day that doesn't go by that we're not surprised or shocked by something else. I mean, sometimes we'll get done with a call or just get done with something, and we'll just high five each other and just sit back and in
Yep.
awe, like, wow, did that just happen?
Mhm.
And but it keeps us humble, and it keeps us hungry,
Yeah,
and that's kind of what our drive has been. But
absolutely.
we wear many hats, because I know that question we still never touched. We
It's,
we we honestly do, and there's some times where she's pulled into production as
Yeah.
well, and
yeah.
And we kind
we
of
just
just
kind of
kind of
flow.
fit.
It's the
It's a
two.
flow. Yeah.
It's the two
Y'all
of
ebb and
us. I mean,
flow. I got it. Y'all ebb and
yeah,
Yeah,
flow.
I mean, we work
yeah.
very well together. Now,
Mm,
let me just make this very clear. That does
okay.
not mean that we don't encounter
And I know how to get to the shop. I know how to
intense
get to the
moments.
shop when it happens. So I know
Wow.
exactly how to get
See,
to the
y'all
shop.
cheating because I was about to go to the question and y'all cheating. So
Yeah.
don't answer that yet because I got something
Okay,
for
All
you.
okay,
right. All
See,
right.
you
okay.
cheater, pumpkin eater. Okay.
All right.
All right. So once the business was up and running, what is I would say, the hardest challenge that you discovered that you didn't know you was going to run into? Like, you're like, oh my God, I got to do this. This is what's up. Running my business. What was the hardest one?
Mhm.
I would say, because we have to use the word hard, I would say even maybe a challenge is just knowing when to turn it off,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
Because it's real easy,
Can I amen
especially
that?
like,
Amen.
right, right. Knowing when to turn it off. Because I mean, we're comfortable with chopping it up about business anywhere and everywhere,
Yeah.
whenever, and we're okay with that.
Yes.
So the good thing is we're both okay with that, if you will. So it
Mm.
hasn't caused any strife or any issues. But
That's a blessing. That's a
we
blessing.
need to know when to
Just cut it off.
just cut it off. Let's not
Yeah.
talk about anything else other than
It's
and
so
birds and the
hard.
bees,
and
right?
I'll say this too, and this is for other entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
that are 20. We're 24. Like, I feel like sometimes we're just 24/7 with this,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and we talk about this same thing all the time, and I think one of the things that's so important for us to remember is that it's God that supplies the need for us. It
Mm.
is God that blesses
100%.
us. And so instead of going, instead of burning ourselves out, because we are talking about it, doing the work, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Staying on a computer all night long, 1 o'clock in the
Mhm.
morning, 2 o'clock in the
Mhm.
morning,
Mhm.
instead of doing that, we just need to stop and say, okay, we need to take this moment. I mean, even for an example, last night,
Mhm.
we were like, okay, our best self needs some rest.
Right. So we
So
put
we
a
we
cutoff.
we shut it off. We're
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
okay, nothing is going to burn to the ground.
Right.
And
Right.
so we
we
need
have we
to,
have definitely gotten better about that. That's for
yeah,
sure. So
yeah,
Mm.
I'm
Mm.
glad that we're paying attention to it. You know, the Heavenly Father has definitely let us know when it's time for us to stop,
Mhm.
and
Mhm. Mhm.
we know how to be obedient.
right.
So we're
I
definitely
have
getting
to
better
echo
about
that
that.
one
But
with you because
that was on onset. That was
yeah.
probably
I
one of the
agree.
toughest things.
I agree.
And I think that any initial business startup or what have you, you're gonna you have to put the time in, the work in. So it's natural that'll happen, but you
Mhm.
have to now start to morph and learn how to get into a healthy groove. So this way you
Mm.
can be your best self
Yeah.
Come on now.
100% of the time. Because if I'm not my best self when it comes time to talk to a customer or a client, or when I'm
Mhm.
designing work or even doing a
Mm.
job, mistakes can happen. So
Yeah.
we just have to
Mm.
really figure out how to balance that
Yep.
the right way.
Yep.
We don't own our own business, but my wife and I both work from home, and we struggle with that very thing of cutting it off because you're always at
Yeah.
work. Right there, you can just jump in and do a couple emails. Then it's 2 hours later, and you're never quite off. So we just made some shifts in our plan to say, okay, we're taking the weekend off. Like we're not gonna work on a Saturday or go to church on Sunday and relax, rather
Right.
than jump in the office. If you're not resting, then you're not recharging your brain. You're not giving your mind a chance to reset, and you're not clearing the calculator, so to speak. As this was an old adage someone told me, each time you don't rest and you keep going with whatever you're doing and you just get right back into it, you're adding on top of that calculator, and the equation won't make sense anymore because you're going times, minus, plus, and sometimes you got to clear the calculator out to do a different equation, right? So if you're
Right.
continuing to keep going every day, you're messing that calculator equation up, and you're never going to be right
Yeah.
to what it was. So
100% agree.
yeah, that's a biggie. That's a biggie. So I'm glad y'all brought that up because I'm definitely guilty of it. Definitely guilty of it with y'all for sure. I got some more comments out there. Natasha said, "Yep, from need to strategy, that's the way to do it." Yep, yep. Tiffany said, you were pressed so you can sew." I love it. Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Everybody giving y'all
Yes.
love.
So
See.
good. Yes.
So we talked a little bit about you got into the business, and I was surprised because I mean, there's a lot of printing companies out there. There's a ton of that out there right now
Yeah.
because everybody's thinking it's quick money, easy money, but it's not that. There's a whole different layer to it, and you got to have relationships, and you got to start off and build a quality product with quality service. What do you think stands you apart from all the other publishing slash print companies out there?
Yeah, so I'll go first in that. Let's just be real, is that there are a lot of printing companies. There are a lot of people that want to make shirts, you know, and do all types of things. But one of the things, and I'm going to answer the part about what sets us apart, but I want to set this foundation first because I feel like this is very important. Andrew and I had to be very comfortable, confident, in what we were called to do. And after prayer, after running from it, because we at a period we ran from it, God was like, "Look, you are not called to run from this.
Mm,
This is what I'm calling you to do."
mhm, mhm.
And so, even after running from it, we had to come to the realization, this is it. And so if this is it, then we're going to be confident, we're going to be bold,
And we had
we're not going to compare
and
ourselves
we
to
had to
other
now
people.
give it 100%.
Right.
Because when we started off, it was only a percentage, right? We were still
Mm,
working in the
mm,
real world, trying to juggle the two, and thought that we can gain success that way by leveraging something else to help build this. But this was a case where we had to jump, right? We had to
Right.
mm,
jump. We had to see if that parachute was going to work. We had to see if we were going to land.
Right.
And it wasn't until we put 100% into what we were doing, whether we were in a deficit or not. Once we put 100% in, that's when we really started to see a lot more fruit.
Right. And because
mm,
we made a conscious effort and our heart was set on this, is that we know that other people are doing it, but there is something that we have that other people don't. And that is the heart to serve. Right?
mm, mm,
Now there are
mm,
people that they have a heart to work, right? They have a heart
mhm,
to do the job and get it
mhm,
done,
mhm,
but our heart to serve, it puts another weight on it, right?
mm, mm,
So when people get our packages, it's a whole experience for them.
mm,
It's
mm,
just not, people can buy t-shirts anywhere.
mhm,
People can
mhm.
buy a hoodie anywhere,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the love that goes into that, it is
Mm,
felt when you put that on your body.
mm,
And no one, I promise you, no one can say, right,
mm,
that they have put a shirt, whatever the case may be, on
mm,
them, and they did not feel the love when they put it
mm.
on.
And
I
that
love
And
that.
that sets us apart.
that sets us apart, and that's also
Wow.
that sets us apart in that work. You can those labor intensive, those physical things, but what we
Mm,
have in the side of the both of us, the
mhm,
love that we have for people,
Love
all of
is
that,
felt.
yeah, all of that that's inside of us is something
mhm,
that's a part of our natural DNA, and we found that it's actually been therapeutic in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I tell you,
mm,
the conversation starts off about work or a job, and by the end of it, something's been relieved or taken care of in that conversation, and we
mm.
don't mind doing that. That's definitely a skill or something that we've definitely
Yes.
learned
So you
and
two are
Yes.
not
progressed
only
over time.
delivering
So
the
we
service
love
and the
doing that. We
product,
love really connecting.
Yeah.
you're giving
Relationships
that
usually
heart.
happen in this business.
Yeah, you're giving that heart. You're giving that extra
Yeah.
bonus, that
Oh
extra
yeah.
part of that extra care. Not just you getting
Oh,
a phone call from us, you're
absolutely.
getting the care from us. We actually care about the client on the other
Yeah.
side. That's such a blessing. Yeah, yeah. And that
Exactly.
circles me to all the people that you have connected with
Right.
over time. A lot of businesses have a hard time finding their first client base or their first customer draw. You two kind of fell into the content creator scene. All the content creators that I know that get their shirts done, get them done through you. Alicio Way, you out
Yes.
there, give a shout to Alicio. A lot of the cat. I know Ecamm uses your products. That you send all the Ecamm
Yes.
information out, and that's the product that we use to film our show. I mean, I could go down the list, and if you want to know, go to pressnsow.com and all the different affiliates that are there that use the product. How did you find your niche there? Or did they find you?
Oh, I
I
tell
think
you.
it's kind of both ways. It found us and we found it.
Yeah. You know,
Go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, we first of all, we found out about Ecamm because I was doing an interview with a lady that lost her leg. And
Mm,
we had heard about Ecamm.
Right. Yep.
And so I
Through a
just,
mutual
through
friend,
a
we heard
mutual
about it.
friend, and so I downloaded Ecamm and did the interview. And I was like, okay, well, obviously there's a little bit more. They were like, join our community. So we joined the community
mm,
and met Pastor Felicia Alston.
She was
She
one
was
of the
one of the
first ones that we
first,
met. Yeah.
and because she was doing a video on GoPro. And
mhm,
so after she did the video, I messaged her, and that was the start of the connection with other creators. And so it was probably around November ish before Vlogmas started
mhm,
in 20
19,
no
2020,
2020.
2020. That's right. Remember
Vlogmas
shirts.
started 2020. And Andrew, we got connected to Let's Get Live with Doc and Diana. And Andrew was like, Sylvia, I feel like we need to give away some Vlogmas shirts. Okay.
You can try
Time
it.
out.
Wait. You can try it. It's not a tactic that I would say to try often, but you can try it. But I really felt led to let's just give something. I didn't know where it was gonna come from, but we did it.
Let me tell you something. We gave the link for people to get their shirts, and they got their Vlogmas shirts. And from that moment on, it was like it opened floodgates.
Well, and then Diana too.
It was after
It
Vlogmas.
was after Vlogmas.
Yeah, and after Vlogmas, Andrew, while Diana was on
she was doing a live, just like this.
just like
Comments, watching.
right, and she talked about learn and do, and I was like, Andrew, do a learn and do shirt right now. I mean, we were sitting right
No
where
pressure.
we are.
Wow, right
And
there.
So I said, okay, do a learn and do shirt right this minute. And he's like, okay, no pressure. I mean, we're sweating. I'm like, hurry up. Do it before they get off this live.
Oh,
And
shoot.
so we sent it to Pastor Felicia, and then she sent it to Diana, and then they put the shirt up on the live. And we're like, okay, well, we didn't know it was gonna go like that. And from that moment
she's literally Diana Gladney was our
she
first
was
affiliate.
our first affiliate.
Nice.
And so
Wow.
from that moment on, she's like, well, do you have an affiliate program? We're like,
no.
We're like,
No?
what in the world?
So that's good though, because that kind of goes back to one of the previous comments that we made about kind of figuring it out as we were going along. So at that point, we had no affiliate program. At that point, there was no pressnsow.com or anything like that.
Nothing.
But with that opportunity now popping up,
oh wait, it was pressnsow.com. We did have the website, but we didn't have the affiliate.
we didn't have the
program.
affiliate program,
Right.
Yeah.
So when she asked those questions, that's what kind of helped spark something in us, right? We listened to what the requests were, and those are the things that kind of sparked and led us into one thing and another, and that's kind of how we've operated. And I wouldn't take that back for anything. I think us just being attentive to what's happening and really being bold about it is really helped us excel.
That was a very bold move. The free shirts.
Oh yeah, the free shirt.
And then making that bold. Right. But that's we have I can say I can say this. I'm so thankful. We are not afraid to make a bold step.
Right.
Yes.
It's the only way you learn.
We're not afraid to walk on water.
Right.
Right.
Come on now.
If it's you
Come
bid
on
me
now.
to come. Come on. All right, we getting ready to walk on this water real quick.
Right.
Real quick.
And
I'll be right back.
We're not afraid to do that. And so right.
I'm gonna pause you right there. Because
and keep our focus where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm too afraid to look back.
Because I wanna pull back on something you said and kind of realign your journey as far as an entrepreneur and highlight a couple things that you did that are actually in the business playbook. The first one is you find a community or a tribe that you think would relate to your product. And the content creators are a huge tribe.
Right.
So that was playbook number one. You didn't even realize you were doing it, but you fell into track number one. Number two, you always give away a teaser of the product you're selling. If you like, pharmaceutical companies give you one for free. They always give you the first dose for free, right? So you can come back. You gave up a shirt. You gave up a couple of things. So you did the freebie for free. Then you followed up with the act of service to say, how can we help? Those are the three biggies on the entrepreneur playbook that you didn't even plan to do, but they went right in step for you, and boom, the business took off. So that was God just hooking y'all up. That's what that was. You didn't even know you was doing it. But but the principles work, and y'all followed right through, and God blessed it all the way around, which is just amazing. That's so cool.
Absolutely.
Wow. So, in every business though, there's highs and lows. You get to the top of a pinnacle, you reach a great success, man, you're doing well. But then there's those times where there's the lows where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm still doing this. Why did I pick this? Give me an example and maybe one thing where you felt like, this ain't working. I got to quit. This ain't what I want to do. Was there one moment or a couple moments where you felt like, I got to get up out of here. This is not working? And how did you get?
It's hot, right? And so, I always have to remind myself, okay, again, God is in control. Everything's going to work out. But there are times that, I personally, even with what I do, stand in my lane. I get to the point where it's like, oh my gosh. And I could say this, even the times when Andrew is on edge, y'all. Remember,
Me?
he
Okay.
likes to go edgy. And so even in those edgy moments, because I know that it is just over the top. And so even in those edgy moments, y'all see my daughter? I mean, they can see you.
Yeah, we can see it.
And so even in those edgy moments, I have to ask myself, okay, Lord, please walk me through this. Please let me be patient. It's going to be okay. It is that talking ourselves through the entire process. What do you have
And
to
see, you
say?
called it out saying that you're gonna have those moments. That's what I want to share with people today. If you're building a business, if you're building any vision, any dream, there's gonna be moments where you're at the high, but there's gonna be moments where it sucks. Come on, y'all. It's gonna be like, this can't be for real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
And
yeah.
you're gonna be
it
like,
gets
no, this ain't working. And you're gonna have to stick to the
Right.
vision that you began with, and like you said, Sylvia, talk yourself through it. You can talk yourself
yeah,
through it. Because if you
yeah.
don't, you're gonna quit, and you can't quit.
Oh,
Right.
You
definitely.
can't
Right.
And
quit.
there are times, still times, for real, like I have to remind myself, right, this is what God called us to do.
Mm.
He's gonna provide. He's gonna make a way. It's
Mm.
gonna work out. Like I have to talk myself through it, because
Mm.
if not, I'm telling you, it will be I'm totally done.
Yeah, and I think I think even another viewpoint on that, just kind of dealing with highs and lows, if you will. We definitely like to take care of the end user, right? You, the customer, the client. We love people, we love on people, but let's just be honest and real.
Real.
In business, you'll come across difficult people
Yeah.
sometimes, and sometimes you may come across people that are one way on the onset, right? When you go
Mm.
out on that first date, it's great, and then when you get to date 2 and 3,
It's just like,
it's
who is this?
that it's reared its head, and it's something completely different, and
Yeah.
they'll flip on you. So you still have to, we've learned that you definitely still have to maintain who you are, your composure, how you respond,
Yeah.
and that's all that you can do. We have our name, we have our integrity, we have our business, and we have to make sure we uphold that no matter what, no matter what's said, no matter what's done. um we just may not be your flavor, and that's fine.
Yeah. And
Mm.
and
Mm.
oh, I'm
and that
so
and
glad you
that
said
and
that.
that and that's okay.
Yeah.
But we unapologetically love who we are,
Yeah.
love who God made us to be,
Mm.
and there are people that are waiting to be served by us, and
Mm.
Yep.
that's what we do.
Yeah. And can I just add this? I love the fact that you said that, because I mean, we also had to come to the conclusion that we are not for everybody,
Right.
right?
Can I
Right.
clap? I'm gonna go ahead and
And it's
preach because
okay.
that's
Yeah.
the word you got
We
to
are
give to
not.
folk. Yeah.
We are not for everyone. Everyone, everyone will not like the way that we do things,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody has their own agenda. let's just
Mm.
let's just put it out on the table.
Yeah.
Come
Everybody
on.
has their own agenda. They
Mm.
have their own expectations. And so if we can't come together and partner together,
Mm.
then maybe we are not, you know what I mean,
and
like,
it's
and
Yes,
okay. That's
it's
the biggest thing.
okay,
Is
and
just
that's
you
it.
have to know that it's okay.
Right. And you
it's
can't take it
true.
personal.
Right.
Right.
My
And
my
I
my
think
aunt
once you
Jackie
start,
gave. I got to give you this. My aunt Jackie. If you watching Aunt Jackie, you know you gave us this phrase, and my wife always chuckles. She goes, "If everybody like me, I'm doing something wrong." Cause she's like,
Right.
everybody ain't
Right.
supposed to like me. You won't have to like me. The people that's supposed to
Right.
like me will like me. The people that
You
don't,
like me.
that's
That's it.
okay. But that
Yeah.
reminds me, everybody ain't gotta like me, and everybody don't want to do business with me, and that's okay too. But I have to
Right.
understand those that will do business with me will carry on with me. They will be our partners for life. They will be people that we engage with.
Yeah.
And I can't, and you can't
And
please everybody. You go broke.
for real.
For
And
real.
let
Go
me add
broke.
this, like, you have to be ready for the one and the many.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm, trying to make someone like us, like me, then I don't, if I'm putting my energy into that, then I can't hear or I can't see when the one that really needs
Right.
us comes
Mm-hmm.
along.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what you have to really assess that and
Yeah.
just be honest that, again, you're not for everyone, but you are for someone,
Mm,
right? And
mm.
someone
Yes.
needs what you have.
Mm, mm.
At whatever level that looks like, you have to be able to know that. But
Mm.
definitely learning that has brought freedom to our for us personally.
There we go. That's all right. Hey, we got him
Looks like we
back.
lost you.
Hey, that's the
No,
power of the live, you know?
it's live, man. This is.
Yeah.
I was
Hey, I
like,
tell
what in the
everybody
world?
this is live. Anything can happen when it's live. So
Right, right.
so you always know when you on my show, it's for real. Like we just roll with it because the word is going out. People getting blessed. People getting encouraged. We gonna keep
Yes,
going
Yeah.
with it, right, guys?
that's
That's
So
right.
it.
so James Hicks jumped in. Y'all know James Hicks jumping in. He jumped in.
James.
James.
He jumped in and said, "Look at y'all winners." What?
We have James
we are
representing right behind
James,
us.
we
Focus.
are
Yep, I
winners.
see the shirt back there.
You see his shirt
Yeah.
right there?
That's the only
Yep,
reason why we're
yep.
winners, James, is because we're
We're
focused.
focused.
Focus. And he said, put it out there in them streets. That's what he said. Like, James
Oh
got y'all
God.
back, man. And
So
James is
good.
another one that's good people. He's out there doing it right.
He
Got something to
He's a
is.
say,
great
right?
guy.
He's doing some. I mean, there's so
You
many
know.
content creators
Yeah,
out there
yeah,
that are doing big things, and he's
yeah.
definitely one of the many.
So I'm gonna close this out, man. We got one final question because y'all have kind of covered everything else I kind of had in the corner. Y'all went around it. I didn't get to ask the question. Y'all just threw it out there. So I'm just gonna bring it all together in one final question. But first, before I do that, man, I really appreciate y'all spending time and sharing.
Oh,
Oh,
To see
thanks
the
for
thank
to
you.
having
see
Thank you
us.
for
to
having
see the
us.
camaraderie together, to see the love together, to see how you guys just follow God each step that you took. You didn't have this gigantic plan, but then when you did put the plan together, you stuck to it, and you just blessing folk. You're out here with a business that anybody could be doing, but because you are doing it a certain way, the way God told you to do it, and you were called to do it, and you just continue to bless people with it, that's why it's successful. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. You know what I mean? Y'all doing
Hmm.
it because God told you to do it, and He's gonna put His hand on it.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
what He blesses, no one can curse, right?
That's
Amen.
right.
You got it.
So
That's
come
right.
on now, let's just let it go ahead and be real. Put it in them streets.
I know that's
So,
right.
so with the last statement with that, for all the entrepreneurs that are watching, if they wanted to start a successful business like yours, what would be the one thing you'd say? Y'all need to be careful of this.
I would say personally, you need to be careful. The voice that's pushing you, make sure that it's not you, and make sure that it is God. I know that sounds cliche, but honestly, like you just said, one of the last things you said is that with His hand on it, God has promised us a lot of things, and His promise alone is the only promise that holds weight, right?
Mm,
Uh, when he has a promise for you in your life, it's truth. So
mm,
that's what I would want to walk in, is His truth. So it's something. You can have a ton of ideas and be motivated by a lot of things, but I would just say really just consult God on it. If that's not your flow, make sure that you do your work and you do your research. You can definitely help. negate a lot of the hurdles up front.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm,
really,
mm.
really understand and know what you're getting into ahead of time.
And I would say it's a big word. I'm using big words today.
It's gonna be a big word for everybody, a big word for you. No, I'm just saying.
Go
See,
on, bring
I
it,
have to do
girl.
that every now
Go.
and then.
Go on, bring
I
it,
have to
Sylvia.
do
Go
that every
ahead.
now and then to make her
Would
laugh.
you
You know,
listen?
you know what this plan. This is how we work all day, by the way. It's just like this. I love it.
Oh my God. Okay, so here's the
Do
big
it for the
word,
people, for the people.
Okay.
right? And it's behind us, but here's the word. It is focus.
Mm,
And if you can allow me to just share in this area. So the reason why my heart is screaming focus is because around us there's so much noise,
Mm,
and because the world is noise, because opinions are noisy, a lot of times we can lose sight and lose focus because of what we see and because of what
what we
we
hear.
hear.
Yeah.
And so when there is a vision, when there is a desire in your heart, I mean, you have to have what I call tunnel vision, where you are not looking to the left, you're not looking to the right,
That's
because
good.
if I look to the right, then I may start to, veer off on somebody else's plan for my life.
Right.
If I look to the left, then I'm gonna lose sight of the desire. I'm gonna lose that passion. I'm gonna lose that zeal. And the passion, the zeal, the desire, the vision, the excitement,
All
that
has to line up.
all has to line up for the success of where you're going.
mm,
And so if I allow my vision, my sight to get off focus, then I'm going to give up, right?
mm,
I'm going to veer off on that is not for me.
mm,
There are people that are listening right now, whether you're listening live or you listening to the replay. And I want to say this to you. There has been vision bubbling up on the inside of you. There's
mm,
desire bubbling up on the inside of you. And you've lost sight because you're not focusing,
Right.
because you've allowed the cares of the world, the noise of the world to take you off focus, whether it is starting a business, whether it's starting a nonprofit, whether it is doing something,
mm,
you've allowed that.
Hmm.
And
mm,
so it I want to get back in line, and I want to grow. I
mm.
want to get back in line, and I want to do what's been burning on the inside of me. And I'll say this one more thing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I'll say
Go
this
on,
one
preach,
more
girl.
thing
Preach.
is
Preach.
that, here's the big picture is that you don't want to pass away and not fulfill, right? You don't want to allow the care of the world, the noise of the world to hold you back from touching somebody's life,
Mm,
right? Your life is for a purpose.
Everyone has a purpose.
Everybody has a
You just
purpose,
have to find it.
right? and
Yeah.
and I'll say this,
Yeah.
no, we have to believe that, and you got to walk into it. And that's why I say focus is the key. You got to remain focused, get that tunnel vision, and say, I'm going to focus on what I've been called to do. My best friend might be doing the same thing I'm doing, but you got to get so focused that you're not comparing yourself to the best friend,
Right.
looking at what they're doing, sizing up what you're doing, right? No, I'm so focused that, okay,
mm,
they may get 1,000 orders, but I know my day coming, right?
mm,
So
mm.
that's it. Stay focused.
That's it.
Well, that was a whole
It's as
lot,
simple as that.
and it was wisdom. It was nuggets dropped. So you can just do this, mic drop. You can go ahead, relax. Today is done. You have helped somebody out there. You helped me, just reminded me, if I stay focused and don't pay attention to the noise, because the noise is loud, y'all. The noise is all over the place, just like you said. And the enemy's trying to distract us. So all he's trying to do is keep us from just going that tunnel vision you talked about. So 100% behind you, 100% facts. Appreciate you breaking that down like you on the pulpit, girl. You had your robe
Right.
on, you was ready. That's all right. And that was all right. So let me just close it up then and tell you again, thank you so much for being a part. I know we've had some video challenges. I don't know if you guys were on a
Thank you so
Wi-Fi
much for
or
having us.
your signal was a little funky, so it kept breaking up a little bit, but we could hear you the whole time. We just couldn't see you at certain spots. So, if someone else asks you about the broadcast, tell them, hey, look, just put it on and listen on Spotify or something. You'll be able to hear it. You'll hear it on Facebook. But it'd be a great one to listen to and share with friends. And if anybody else has any questions, please reach out to pressnsow.com. There's a slot where you appreciate
You're amazing.
it.
Thank you.
All right. And as we close it up, as always, we want to appreciate you guys staying with us and being part of the Beautiful Now podcast, watching Chasing the Impossible. If you enjoy this kind of content, like we said in the beginning, hit the subscribe button and share it with a friend. Let somebody else know that they can leave any kind of content like this uplifted, encouraged, and inspired. Hope to see you next time. Have a great one, guys. Take care, and we'll see you again at the Beautiful Now podcast. Take care.